What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Move Better channel. I'm your host, Dr. Joe, and this is the Professor John Penisarada. Today, we're going to talk about TFL pain, the latte.
The latte.
Of the hip. Let's get it going. So, John, the TFL, the latte.
How do you know if
that
you got
hip.
TFL dysfunction or whatever?
So, what is the TFL, John?
Well, it's that muscle that's attached to your hip that runs around to the IT band and goes around to the knee area. Goes from here all the way around this way, but the muscle is right here.
Yeah, and it attaches to the tib. It works on knee flexion, external rotation of the tib. It also works on hip flexion and abduction and internal rotation. So it does a variety of things, and it's a small muscle belly. What does it really do? Well, the primary function of it is it aids in walking. It helps with running. It works on hip stability. So in conjunction with muscles around the area of like your rectus femoris, which is a quad muscle, your vastus lateralis, your glute med, your glute max, which is all back in here, those butt muscles, it all aids in hip stability, right? And so it's, sometimes whenever we deal with a tendinitis or a tendinosis in that area, we often feel the pain in the hip, and we're always trying to figure out where to fix it. Sometimes some people might be feeling pain in the knee, which, especially for runners, they call it IT band syndrome. And so we want to teach you guys today how to release tension, how to regain control of that muscle, of the activation techniques that we can do in order to relieve pain and get us back to walking and functioning properly.
Let's go.
Cool. So with foam rolling, we have all these different tools. Again, myofascial release or self-massage is what we're really looking for. We're just trying to gain sensation, gain a sensory motor control over this area. And by putting external pressure or massage on the area, we can actually work on releasing it. So in this area, John, we are going to lean forward here, and we're going to kind of get a little anterior. You're going to cross your foot over to the opposite side, John. That's it, good. And so almost as if we're about to roll out our IT band, we're just getting it into the proximal hip or the top of the hip. Hold it right there. And we're just going to leave it there for a quick second, almost like a trigger point therapy, as if somebody's putting a thumb right into that muscle belly of the TFL. And so as we're releasing tension, we're going to go ahead and scrub it. So you're going to go up and down. And as he's scrubbing up and down, he's going to get it like he's brushing his teeth. So he's going to go rolling forward and back and scrubbing up and down, up and down. All right? Now, if you don't have a foam roller with you, you can get a tennis ball, or you can get a lacrosse ball or a softball, and like I have in my hand. And it'll be a little bit more pinpoint in that area. Might be a little bit more sensitive if you guys want to utilize a ball in that spot. Now, I'm rolling over the TFL, but remember, it works in conjunction of all the hip stabilizers. And so what we're going to do here is go ahead and have a seat, and we're going to get onto that glute max, the glute med. And if we want to stretch out the muscle, you're going to place the ankle over the knee here, and he's just going to scrub straight up and down. And remember, your butt muscle is a big muscle, so you're going to go forward and back, and notice how he's leaning into it. He's going back, and he's not just going up and down. So we want to, again, create as much sensation to the area that we're trying to activate before we do all of our exercises. And so the last one that I want to do is, because we know that the IT band has attachments at the tib or below the knee, we're going to have him rotate. There you go. And now you're just going to scrub up and down here. And he's going to be on the lateral aspect of the attachment points of that IT band. Move a little bit over there more. That's it. And go scroll up and down, scrub up and down. And so these are all areas that may be affecting our walking, our running, and, working with that TFL as a team. Now, today we are also going to tie into, we're not going to go into the stretching aspect, because if we're dealing with TFL tendinitis or tendinosis, which is more of a chronic issue, we want to try to work on some isometrics. Now, you're not limited to isometrics. I know there's a lot of talk out there about isometrics being the only way that you can get rid of tendinitis. there are very dynamic ways to work on it. Today, we're just going to work on those isometric exercises that may be able to get you out of pain a little bit faster and get you guys running and walking and back into your game. We know that the TFL works on hip stability, so we want to try to get you into a tall kneeling position that will almost force the muscles to work the way they need to, right? We're trying to get all aspects of the hip to work. Again, not just the TFL, even though the TFL is probably the area that we're dealing with most pain. With most pain. And so as he's in a kneeling position here, he's already activating his glute. He is working on stretching the hips slightly, but at the same time, he's mainly focused on the stability of the hip. So just by him kneeling down here, without even him having to push forward and even stretch, he just needs to squeeze his butt muscle. And as he's squeezing his butt muscle, he's focusing on the areas that activate the hip, right? And him just putting, and the amount of load, the gravity that's being pushed down upon him is forcing the hip to do what it needs to do. You can take this a step further and grab a weight, grab a kettlebell, and hold it right in front of your chest. You could bring it up, you could rotate, you could twist, you could do chopping motions. Anything that works, that is going to force that hip to fire and release tension and pressure off of that one specific muscle, which is the TFL. Cool. One of my favorite exercises to do is just a single leg balance. Go ahead and bring that leg back. Perfect. And we're about to get into a rotational pattern. So step number 3 is him just standing on one leg and hinging into that hip. And as he's holding it here, go ahead and stand on up. Don't put that foot down. He's balancing, he's working those stabilizer muscles of the hip, and then he's going to reach down, he's going to grab that chair again, and he's going to come right back up again. And so simply put, he's working on the hinge, he's working on keeping pressure into that leg. Let's switch legs so they can see it. His knee is slightly unlocked, it's not completely locked out, and he's going down and he's coming right back up into a full hip extension. And so that's the isometric control that we're working on. Even though he's very dynamic with his upper body, that hip is working on stabilization. The hip is just staying in place, and we're placing the load that we need into that area, or we call this more of an isotonic movement. And then the last one we're going to do, go ahead and get into that position again. The last exercise that we're going to work on is him in this position. Now he's just going to work on the lateral rotation here. So he's going to rotate in, and he's going to rotate right back out. And these are those hip airplanes that we're looking at to try to, again, gain access to the control that we need. And as he externally rotates here, he's working all the muscles of that hip that allow control and will release pressure off of just that one muscle that might be dealing with that tendonitis. So try those exercises out. Let us know how we did. We had some self-massage techniques. We have some tall kneeling techniques that you can work with. And then you have the hinging and single leg balance techniques that you can work with as well. If those exercises have helped you out, make sure you comment below. Let us know how we did. If you're running and walking, did this bring you back to your sport? Did it get you back into playing your sport that you need without any of that pain? Thanks, you guys. See you guys on the next episode.